Hey guys, this is Rob speaking, and today we are back into creating the Diablo 2 Countess run simulator. So far we are about 8.5 hours into making this, and progress has been really good. Last time around I did go over some of the sounds. I just extracted them from Diablo 2, some free small sound bites, and created our button sounds. And also we did have a good look at the calculations and the overview of the chances, the roll chances and so on, and had a little discussion there. I think I figured it out, but then I proceeded to implement all kinds of things, all the assets into GameMaker Studio 2. The new project is set up and ready to go. So that is where we are starting off today. And what we are going to attack first, I believe, is the algorithm for running. And I'm going to use just one page, so like one room. It is defined as one level or room in the GameMaker Studio 2. And I'm going to use this, just put one button in there. Not even a button, no, that's for later, because then I have to animate it, all kinds of button logic. We're going to make buttons later. Just by pressing a key, we will get different runes for, like, every press of a button will be one run. Sounds like the perfect clicker game, the Countess clicker game. Oh, always wanted to have that. Yeah, I got an ist rune. Yes. So, where do we start here? Well, we have a room. Let's rename it and then add our first object, which will be governing what happens in this room. And then we will have to do some scripts for the actual runs. Where are all the chances? They're here. Here are all the chances. All these need to be put into some kind of good structure. Preferably an array which gives us all these stats for the various difficulties. So that would be 3 dimensions. So that's a 3-dimensional array. Simple enough. Oh, wait a second. I think I remember vaguely that GameMaker Studio doesn't even support 3-dimensional arrays. Why doesn't it do that? Meh. Maybe that has changed though, and I'm not so certain. Otherwise we just split it up into several vectors, one for each difficulty, then you have various 2-dimensional vectors. Okay, so very simple, very simple stuff first off. So I've just renamed the room to RM test room, and I've created a first object which currently is empty, just calling it object test room. This one will be used to gather keystrokes and whatnot in the test room. And it is set to visible, yes, persistent, I don't care, that's all good. And now we can add events to it. And what events do we need? Well, I guess we do need a onCreate event. Like what does it create when you come into this room, which would be our first room, it arrives there. What happens then? This is what happens here. But before we define anything there, let's define the room. Because this has the wrong size. We did want to have it in 1280 x 720. And we can just use... wait, that's the wrong layer for it. Background... here. Background sprite. We can select, for instance, this one. Yay! Look, our UI. It's beautiful and so empty. And now I can just draw into this instance layer. So basically every room has a set number of layers. You can create more layers, different kinds of layers. And we have one background layer right now, which is where I put in the image, the background image. And we have instances. This is the layer for various objects. So what I'm going to do is pull in our test room object in here. So once this room gets created or entered, then this object will be created, and then the create event in this object is called. So, that's the wrong one. Where do we have it? In here. So, I have the create event here, and now I can start defining things. Do I want to define... Do I want to have some kind of other object in here, which is like rune chances or something? Probably yes. Let me just set up a structure and then I show you what I did. Okay, so now I've just copied over the values straight up. Of course, there are no variables there just yet, and it doesn't have the right number of elements, but that is where I create a data structure for those values now. I've just put them in the various categories so that I know where they are coming from. And this is on create, on the create event. Once that one is called, we just load in all the chances for the various drops. And they will be kept throughout the simulation, of course, they're constants. So we just need to make sure that this object remains there. And alright, so let's think of a decent data structure and naming convention here. I can't even remember if the formatting of this is correct, but I assume it is, because it's no longer complaining about variables. First complaint comes in here, so I guess that works. Now what I'm going to do is to just do 2 dimensions for this one. No more is needed, because we can just have the first list, like 0 is for hell difficulty, 1 is for hell difficulty non-specific Countess drops, then 2 is for nightmare Countess-specific drop chances, and so on and so forth. So we end up at 5, because there are 2 tables for each difficulty, and we start at 0. Oh wow, this is amazing! This is so awesome! Look at that! I just tried it out because I thought maybe it's so awesome that it has this. I never tried it before. But, like, you know that there are different modes of selecting shit? Like, if you shift select something, then it goes to that location, and control select is like selecting many items. But also, I wanted to see, like, can I actually select only this? Only this? And if you hold Alt, then it selects exactly that, and you can just copy-paste that stuff. Isn't that great? Yes, it is. So if we want to now select these, oh, this is beautiful! It saves so much time, and then just paste it there, and bam! It's awesome. All right, data entry is done, I would say. I do have the 0th rune here, just defined so that we can have a one-to-one correspondence with our indices we are using to the rune. So this 8th rune, of course, is the Ra rune, and we see we have a 33% chance to roll it. For everything but normal, it is split up into the 2 selections. So Nightmare is index 2, main index 2 is the counter-specific rune drop, and index 3 is the non-specific rune drop. Same for hell difficulty up here. I think it is a good idea to start out making a settings object, so that we can save various information in there, like what simulation settings you chose. Because the first thing I run into here for the run calculations is there is a variable amount of runs per frame, and that is set by the user. So at the start, we just want to try it out with 1 run per frame, and only 1 frame of, like only 1 repetition, right? So just 1 click or 1 button stroke, and that produces 1 run to test it out. On a second thought, that might not be quite the way to do it. We don't want to create an object run with all that data every time we do want to do a run. but rather what we should do is to have an object that calls a script for a run, and then that script accesses all the information for the various objects, for the data storage objects, for the result vectors, so to say. And not quite sure how I want to structure that yet. Give me a moment here. Okay, some more basics have been done here. Now I'm creating a data structure that is the rune inventory. That has 34 slots, and yes, I know, 34, yeah. 33 slots really, but I add the 0 just in case something goes to 0 and then you're fucked. And the program has an excess violation or something. We don't want that, so I'm always adding the 0 there too if I do something like that. And then we have our rune cubing setting, like if runes are supposed to be cubed or not. And by default, I set it to, this is what this thing does, rune 15 and lower are not being cubed, and rune 16 and higher are being cubed, minus the Zod, which cannot be cubed. Has anyone tried? Anyway, 15 is hell, so anything from Io and up would be cubed in this sense. And then we have some standard settings, or not settings, but rather just trackers. How many repetitions were completed, how many runs were completed so far, and how many cubings were done. And this is, of course, in no way complete. I'm just building this the same way I started designing the tool itself, and that is step by step, just whatever comes to mind you add, and in no time this grows into a beast. Okay, I did take a little break for something else that needed attention, and now I think I've decided that we are going to do something along these lines. Create a script that is responsible for doing exactly one run and one run only, according to the settings of the player has given to the simulator. And that will use the data manager's various stats and feed back into the data structures that the data manager has for what runes were found, and then we will do so this script is only about finding runes. This is running the Countess once, and then a different script can take care of cubings, and yeah, I guess we start there. I mean, that's enough. So one run only. Okay, maybe something like this would work. So this is supposedly one run, right? So that's the goal. We just pull out the difficulty out of the object settings. We address the difficulty just by the dot here. Save that locally in a variable, and then we have 3 slots, 3 potential chances to find counter-specific runes. And in order to do so, we loop through for each slot 1 to 4, or 1 to 3, including a 3. Increase the slot size for each run through, or slot number for each run through. And in there we have a loop over all runes that can be found, and it ends once it gets to 0. And it decreases the rune, because it goes from the top down to the bottom, not the other way around. Otherwise you would only find like low runes ever. And then we have the if statement here, the actual finding of the rune. If the chance denoted in the object data manager, rune chance, is larger than a random number generated between 0 and 1, then we find the rune. Oh my, that mini dinner was amazing. Yes, some pancake-like thing with frozen blueberries and coconut cream on top. It was awesome. Anyway, so now we need to continue here. And, well, I've written it out as a comment here, and I just need to add the code that actually does that. Now let me have a go at it. Well, okay, that should do the trick. The only thing we need to do in here, I believe, right now, that might change, is that for the rune index, we up the inventory count of the data manager, the rune inventory count. That adds a rune, right? So, and then we need to break this loop. And that would be the loop we are currently in, the first loop here, that currently is active, the inner loop. And that loop is this for loop over the rune indices, which is good. And then we get back to the next slot, unless that slot is already above 3. And thus, we have generated runes. But, okay, this is just one rune, this one. And these are the 3 rune chances. But now we have chances on top of that from non-counter specific drops. So let me implement that. Okay. So what I did here is just to check again what the difficulty rating is, because this drop doesn't exist for normal, and I don't want to run off the allowed scale of the array here, because how we're addressing this is by 2 times the difficulty plus 1. That should be the correct list to look at, but that would give us 5 if that's normal difficulty, and there is no such thing for normal difficulty. There's only one list for normal. So I do want to avoid that case, so I'm just excluding difficulty 2 here. And then we do... Oh yeah. Yeah, this is tricky. This is tricky. What I think this is that for the Balrog example we had, and for the Countess, as we've seen, these are the cumulative chances to get there. But there's more than one slot, because she can drop 5 runes and 6 runes. But that is super, super uncommon. So what I think is what we need to do here is to take those chances and actually divide them by the number of slots available. And I think there are 3 extra slots. So if she can drop 6 runes as a maximum, then we need to divide those chances on that table by 3. And I think that should give the correct numbers. I hope it does. Anyway, the rest is the same as for this up here. We break the loop, but before that, we add the current rune index to our inventory. Oh yes, one thing I just thought about. In the data manager gets created on startup basically, because that object needs to be everywhere so that we can have access to the data everywhere. And I think it makes the most sense to call the randomize on the creation of this one. Randomize just randomizes the table of the starting seed for the randomization. So on every startup of the tool, it will randomize the data, which will randomize the starting point, the seed, so that we don't get always the same results whenever we run the program. That would be shit. That would be so terrible. Cool, I didn't even have to look it up. So, we call randomize. Is this correct? Yes, it is. Okay. I think we can add a debug message string here for the runes we find. Is it something like this? I believe so. So, debug string, so that would show up when we run the program, would show up in basically in the command prompt or in the log of what we are running. And that's good enough for now. This is just for testing purposes after all. So non-specific, because it's a non-specific drop. Let's spell that a little bit fancier. And then it gives us the slot number here. This is basically what I'm doing here is to build a string. A string means text from just the variables we have here and fill in some words so that they make sense. So rune, slot, rune, do we need to colon there? Not necessarily, but... So this gives us the rune index plus... Oh, I need this to be in the object manager. This is a data container I've not designed yet. This is such a nice test. Like, how many can you do before you have to look shit up? So far I'm still going. Odd and then full, right? Okay, so let's see if I can string together the others. Oh no, I'm stuck already. Shile, Dol, and then Io. No, then Hell, and then Io. Oh my god, I'm way off the mark. Okay, now we have all the rune names in here as well, in the big data table. Rune name. Now we can actually call that thing. Let's go back to where we used it. Here, script 1 run. So now this this thing actually exists in the data manager. The rune index, yes, that would be correct. What more do we need? Oh yeah, I need this thing up here as well. It is exactly the same formatting, of course. Alright, I think we have everything we need in order to now start the tool for the first time. If we put things into here in the correct way. So we have our UI manager. The UI manager, this one, will do, once we hit spacebar, we'll launch this script. The Countess run, one Countess run in Hell difficulty, because in the settings I have defaulted that to Hell difficulty right now. And well, runs per frame aren't used yet. And in the data manager we have everything we need. And in the UI there's nothing there. Settings, okay, in the script we do the rest. We do all the good things. So I do need in this room, I do need not only the UI manager but also the data object. And I should sort them, like the mainstay things are on top, and then we have, with some distance to them there, the stuff that actually does UI things. And the settings is also mainstay up there. Okay, good. Now we should have everything in this room, and we should be able to run it for the first time. Let's see how many how many fuck-ups there are and how badly it crashes. Failed. Run program complete. Alright, well that started well. Windows run. Saving 7 resources. Okay, and that wasn't successful. Oh shit, it is working. It is working. You know what was wrong? I needed to restart because it just installed a new runtime. So basically a new compiler, and that somehow was still disconnected with the version I was coding in or something? I have no idea. So just googled it and they were saying like, yeah, maybe your runtime is out of date. Mine was set to the latest, so I just restarted and it works, and bam! There we are, without errors! Without errors. So now, I haven't tried anything yet. Now, this is just our background, remember? So now we set it to that if we hit the spacebar, it actually does one event. So let's see if that happens or if it crashes. It crashes! Yes, excellent. Okay, here we go. This is programming. Awesome. Oh, it does complain about my big string building thingy. It is a Where did it say that? Do add error. So I'm using the plus sign as in some unintended way. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can sort that out. That should be easy to find. Hopefully. Oh, I think I know what it might be. Maybe this code needs a something like string? Like something that makes it into a string? Is this correct? Maybe it is correct. I don't know. String. Because you cannot add a number to a string. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to stringify the number first. Okay, now I have fixed that supposedly. If that indeed was the case, then that was broken. Now I can rerun it. Let's see what happens. It's compiling. Yay, compiling for more or less the first time. So, yes! Yes! Oh, fuck. We're finding loads of runes. What the hell is going on here? So, slot 2. Oh, there's something seriously going wrong there with the chances. Specific? Oh, maybe I held down this. Oh, what happens if I hold down the spacebar? Is this the mode that? Oh yeah, okay. I held down the spacebar a little too long. Look, all the runs. We're finding all the runes. This is super efficient. Is there anything nice in here? 2 IOs there. Co-rune. 2 co's. Oh, that's cool. Did we find them in the same run too? That would be amazing. Oh, there was a file rune. Yes, we found a file rune. So the thing here is I just need to change the event type that is being called. So that it's only doing one run. I always confuse them, which one is which. So where did we do that? That is in the UI manager. Come on, go there. Key down. So change event. Where is it? Change event to not key down, but rather to key pressed. Yes. Spacebar. Where are you? Space. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so let's make this window down here a little larger and see what comes out of it. So like this. Ah, we found 1 rune, and that was an arm rune. Okay, whoa, that was a nice drop. So 1 to 3, Sol, Alt, and Shile. Oh no, it doesn't auto-scroll. Come on. Come on, I want to auto-scroll. Okay, 3 runs. 1, 2, 3. So, let's check. We found loads of runes. Oh, we got a non-specific rune. Oh, that's a good test. So, but why do we find so many runes? This is not right. Something is not quite right here, guys. Maybe I do need to divide them by 3 as well. Oh, I probably do have to do that. Because this looks like you find a rune every single time. Whoopsie poopsie. Yes. Okay, like for every slot, I mean. So we did find an Ort rune as a non-specific one. So the second loop does work as well. Is this correct? You have 3 slots. Yes, this is correct. Because then the number... The chance to find a Tal rune should be 25% overall, not per slot. Right? Yeah, okay. That makes a lot more sense. So, we have the chances divided by 3 each. Save this. We pause or stop it and recalculate. So now it's in auto-scrolling mode, I believe. Yes, okay, we found a Sol and a Co. Ah, this is looking a lot better. A lot better. There we go. And we found a Sol, an Arm, and a Nef. And here we found only a Hel and a Ral. Oh, okay. Oh, didn't we find anything? No, it stopped scrolling again. Fuck me. Oh, it didn't. What's going on? An if rune, an if and an arm rune, and why doesn't it do anything there? Arm and doll, tal and L. Oh, an L rune. That's rare. And a tier. Okay. Now we see. Yeah. Now we are seeing some lower runes as well, which is what you would expect to see. And previously we didn't see them because they were picked off by high runes because they had triple the chance to drop before they even reached the low runes. Okay, so now we are pretty much spot on, and I think this is a perfect time to end today's episode. We do have a now... I think this is working as intended. Now that we found the problem with the divided by 3 and added that. That makes perfect sense now. And we do have a script that produces exactly 1 run. And next episode, I think we are going to start building some UI and hook this up, because test was successful. And the best thing is, there was only 1 bug in there, 1 bug, that I didn't convert the strings, or the numbers to strings first before trying to display them. Funny also that the debug message was what bugged the program. Not a bug in the actual calculations, but the debug message. Okay, I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.